Good morning. In this week's Parshat Bamidbar, we start the fourth book of the Torah, the book of Bamidbar, and it opens with V'yedaber Hashem al Moshe b'midbar Sinai lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe in the Midbar of Sinai, saying, now Midbar means desert or wilderness. It's an empty space. It's a barren land. We know that Sinai desert today is a very barren area. And the question that many of the commentaries ask is, why indeed was the Torah given in such a barren place? If one of the focal points of the Torah, if one of the goals, so to speak, that the Torah sets for humanity is to become civilized, is to give us godly civilization, then surely the giving of the Torah should have been linked somehow to civilization. Hashem could have given the Torah in a civilized, lush, fertile area. Why was it given essentially in the middle of nowhere? And I'd like to share two answers with you. The first is from the Midrash in Bamidbar Rabbah, that it says that the Torah was given in the desert in order to teach you that whoever wants to acquire Torah, whoever wants to become a Torah scholar, to acquire knowledge of Torah, has to make themselves like a desert. They have to invest their heart and soul in Torah, but come from a place where they almost feel a sense of emptiness, barrenness. What I mean by that is, when somebody comes into Torah with an arrogance and a sense of a self-aggrandizement and how great they are and how wonderful and amazing they are, that's not conducive to study of Torah for a couple of reasons. On a very basic level, it's because such a person is not really willing to learn. They're not willing to submit themselves to the authority and wisdom of others. They're not willing to really hear what others have to say or consider that other people may have insights that they don't. The Torah instructs us, we read it in Pirkei Avot, to learn from every person. The beginning of the fourth chapter of Pirkei Avot, Ezu chacham lomed mikol adam, who is wise, someone who learns from every man. We find the great King David, one of the greatest Torah scholars of all time, and a prophet and author of books of the Tanakh. So he learned two things only from Achitophel, one of his advisors. He only ever learned two things from him in Torah, and yet he honored him all the time. And that's the lesson for us, is you need to go into Torah with a humility. On a practical level, you need to approach every wisdom with a humility if you want to learn, but Torah especially. The second idea is that Torah is not just wisdom, but it's a product or an expression of our relationship with Hashem. What that means is that Torah is a gift given by God. That's why we say about Baruch Atah Hashem Noteinu Torah, blessed are you Hashem, who gives the Torah. The Torah is something that's been given to us all the time. And so if we want to take this Torah, it depends on our relationship with Hashem. And Hashem does not like the arrogant person. In fact, the Gemara tells us that Hashem says about an arrogant person, there's not enough room for he and I to live in the world together. The world is full of all kinds of wondrous things, and there's always room for Hashem. But in the heart of the arrogant person, there's no room for Hashem. And if there's no room for Hashem, then there's by definition, there will never be the Torah of Hashem. The second idea of why the Torah is given in the desert is from the Maggid of Dubno. And he explains it with a story of three brothers. That he says you have three brothers. One is very wealthy. One is very poor. Those two brothers live in one city together. And the third brother is a rabbi who lives in a different city. And whenever the rabbi brother would come to town, he would stay with the wealthy brother. He wasn't a burden on the family. He was able to host his brother and provide food for him and everything, no problem. The poor brother would have been very difficult. He's got his own children to take care of. He's having a hard enough time making ends meet. As it is, he doesn't have spare rooms. So that was the arrangement, and it worked for everybody. After a number of years, the rabbinic brother became very, very well known and famous, and actually became a teacher and speaker in very, very high demand. And what happened was, he was coming out to visit this town, and the poor brother wrote him a letter to say, please won't you come and stay with us? And he said, absolutely. And he gets there, and he stays with him. The rich brother says, what's the story? Why did you change? So he says, I didn't want to burden our brother. He says, but now that I'm famous, people bring me gifts all the time. People are bringing me food. People are bringing me fruit baskets. He says, I'm never going to eat all this food. And what happens is, whatever's left over, I can now give to our brother. Had I stayed with you, so whatever was left over, maybe we would have thrown it away or whatever. Now this can actually be to his benefit, to his assistance and advantage. And so that's the idea. The Maggid of Dubno says that's the idea of the Torah. The Torah was given, when it came to considering where the Torah should be given, it was given in a place where it could make the greatest positive impact, where it could help people, where it could make a difference. If the Torah was given in a lush, populated, beautiful area, very nice. So it'll be more lush, it'll be more populated, it'll be more beautiful. But when the Torah is given in a desert, it brought, the Medrash tells us, it brought life to the desert. The desert bloomed and blossomed. Torah brings blessing wherever it goes. And so when you have the ability to bring blessing, your question should be, where is this blessing needed? Where can this blessing do the most good? Just like this brother who thinks to himself, he could stay at his rich brother, probably be more comfortable, but he can't bring as much good. He can't bring as much blessing. When Hashem gives the Torah, he wants to teach us a lesson. Don't just bring blessing where it's easy, where it's convenient, maybe not even where it's appropriate. Bring blessing wherever you can, where it's going to make the biggest difference, where it's going to make the most impact, where it's going to help the most people and bring blessing into their lives. Have a wonderful Shabbos.